Secrets behind 10K plus months. Now, you're probably here because you've been desiring to have 10K months. You've probably been following a lot of different coaches that tell you to go manifest, manifest, and you kind of like gone on that loop into manifestation, inner child healing. And then at one point you've kind of gone, okay, let's follow that strategy. And what do you maybe found yourself? Is it hasn't really worked yet. So what's the secret? Let me reveal it. Now, we need both, okay? We need the energetics, but we also need the strategy. And the problem is, it's not found here and it's not found here. It's found in the combination of both, okay? So the secret behind 10K plus months, whether it is 10K, 20K, 30K, is actually a mixture of three pieces, okay? It's the identity, is who you are. And this is the most important piece. And this combines your belief system, what you expect, what you tolerate, how you see yourself. And this is really important. So what we're going to talk about is actually how can you become conscious of who you are, because the results you get is not what you do, but who you are. Okay. And we'll talk about the archetypes, because each archetype gets different results. And we all embody these archetypes. And when you know, you can always choose who you are. Okay. So we'll talk about that. The second part is the energetics. And this is like a magic spell. The universe doesn't speak language, it speaks frequency and energetic. So when we move from scramble, fear, scattered, oh my gosh, will this happen? Hoping, waiting, guess what happens? Universe like, you like scattered? You like hoping? She definitely loves, waiting. You get more of it, okay? So we gotta clean that up. We gotta understand the energetics combined and really combined with the identity. And then obviously strategy, okay? We don't just manifest. It's not the business strategy, but it's not the strategy like we have been doing. It's like magic bullet, let's go, just launch. And we find ourselves in this pressure launching, and nothing wrong with launching, I love it. But when we do it as a rescue strategy or this funnel or this, and we are like trying to follow somebody else's cookie cutter strategy, and we just feel ourselves losing ourselves. No, okay. But what we need is intentional strategy that is completely tied to your vision and your intention. And then you actually know what the needle moving activities are to bring those results, okay? Now, we're going to talk about those pieces as well, because without intention, we're not really running a business, okay? So, like I say, what I have seen with most people, and let me know if this is you, we're going to start here to self-identify, is they've been swinging from one to another. And you're probably here because you have been one of those, okay? So you have entered the online coaching space, and you may be even operating most of your life in the masculine energy. Well, disempowered masculine energy, control, pushing, controlling, doing more, all of that. So you suddenly learn all about energetics, the frequency, identity, the whole manifestation, inner child healing, and you become a healing junkie. You decide, okay, I'm going to manifest, I'm going to heal, I'm going to find more reason why. And it's all really good to heal and manifest. But what happens is we become very passive and we start surrendering, not the surrendering we should be doing, but kind of like giving away our power. We've been hoping, we've been waiting, and we're constantly waiting. The reason hasn't happened because, I haven't cleared that block. I haven't done that healing, okay? And then what do we find ourselves after that? We're like, no results. So we swing from being the healing junkie into the strategy. And now we start pushing, controlling, holding tight, and we find ourselves stuck, okay? So we've been in this loop. Okay, so I've tried all of it. So that's the reason I know my clients, I see them again and again into the swinging, disempowered energy. No, neither are not really working. Okay, so the magic secret sauce is sustainable behind sustainable 10K months is the combination. Identity, energetics, and strategies. By all means, do your healing, but no more waiting, no more hoping, okay? You are good enough now. Results can happen. You've already paid the price, all of that. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit behind the scenes, why I know this so well. And then we're going to go into the juicy, juicy, juicy bits. I started this particular business in 2020. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I know how to get results. But in 2020, when I started this particular business, I found myself in a very, very, very difficult situation. Okay. I was in the middle of a divorce that was not easy. My ex-husband was not doing really well mentally. And it was just, we were not in a good divorce. And my daughter was a toddler, and I was a founder of a startup and the CEO. And there was a lot of pressure. We had investors, there was a lot of pressure, we had a team. So I found myself, because I was a startup founder, I was also paying myself very minimum salary. So there was a lot of financial pressure because I had lawyer bills. The daycare was in Netherlands, so it was like 2,000 euros a month. So it was just like pressure, pressure, pressure. I found myself this come to Jesus moment, this line in the sand. I was dropping my daughter India at the daycare. It was 7 a.m. in the morning. And I remember I was like, she is the first one here. I mean, I've often done this before, but I didn't really register this. And then later in the evening, when I, picked her up after a long day in the startup world, trying to hold it all together, I picked her up. And I was like, she is the last one here. And her eyes were looking at me, and I just felt this sharp pain, and it hit me. I'm losing out on my daughter. And this moment, I decided I no longer tolerate this. I'm not available for this reality anymore. So I made a really powerful decision. I'm like, okay, I'm going to change this. I got myself here. It's a horrible pressure situation I'm in. My situation is not beautiful, but what if it can change? So I made a decision. I'm no longer available for this. I'm no longer available for this. And it was very difficult because I decided to quit the startup, and I felt guilty because I was letting down my team, my investors and everything, but I had to make a choice. I understood in this moment, I always have a choice. Might be difficult, but I need to choose me and my daughter. I made a decision. I'm going to start a business. I have had a lot of businesses. I mentored a lot of business. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to make sure this business is built around my life, and I'm going to make enough money. This was a catalyst. The first month, I got very clear what I want, why I want it. I created a plan. It became a 10K month. Now, later on, I found myself in the loop. I was making all this money, but it would never, stay. It would disappear. So it was like pressure, pressure, pressure. So different kind of pressure. I came to another aha moment, and that had all to do with the identity. And I'm not going to go into that story right now, but I found the secret sauce. I've been sharing this with clients. It really worked. Okay. It wasn't until I embodied this new identity of the woman who only tolerates 10K plus month, who really understood how to utilize the identity and the energetics, how to utilize the masculine, the feminine energetics. And I found my internal safety. I became a source of safety. I started trusting myself. I improved my relationship with myself, but I also started to trust my intuition, and I allowed myself a plan and follow it through instead of spinning and refining the plan all the time, and had a systems that things completely changed. Okay. Now, most entrepreneurs that have not reached 10K months, they are usually reinventing, refining their offers again and again, and the strategy again and again. They're not like, this is my offer, this is my strategy, let's go. They're constantly refining my intent. So they're in that loop, circling. Okay. This is you've been a feast and famine, you've been hoping, trying, guessing, throwing spaghetti at the wall, refining your offers and strategy, magic bullet, chasing them, you are in the right place. Okay, so let's talk about it. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is the 3-part GPS method that are going to help you stabilize your 10K months. We're going to talk about the archetypes of identity, and we're going to talk about some of the sales systems. So let's dig in. Okay, so the GPS method is really important. Now, you probably started this business because you want to help people. You generally want to help your clients. You're very good at what you do, and you wanted time freedom, you wanted monetary freedom. Then you found yourself in a pressure land. I need, oh my gosh, I don't feel safe. Okay, we need to go back to basics. We need to go, what do you want? What do you really want? What is that vision? How do you want to help your clients? If you give yourself full permission, everything could be possible. How do you really want to help your clients? And what do you want? What kind of income will feel juicy, light, amazing? That you feel this relief in your body, you feel safe, you feel, all of it. So for a lot of people, it's 10K plus months, because this is the bridge from I need pressure to I desire, and it just feels good. Okay. Get clear what it means. If you're already there, what does it mean for you? What does it mean for your clients? Then what we got to do, and this is what most people don't do, is we got to convert the 10K months into a service goal. So instead of focusing on the number, pressure, we focus on how can I fucking serve you? I love to serve you. When we focus on the service, the universe will serve us. So we convert the 10K months into whatever clients that is. So we need to look into offers and say, okay, is this realistic? Is this working? So for instance, if your offer is, let's say 2,500, that would then mean 4 clients. And now we start focusing on serving those 4 clients, getting those 4 clients instead of 10K months. Now we break it down. A lot of people, when we break it down, they realize actually it's not sustainable. Okay, so that is also where we can see, is it realistic? Is this because often we're like, oh, I want this number, but it wasn't really realistic. Okay, so we break it down. So we go from number to clients, and then we need to ask yourself, what does my client need in order to buy from me, and who do I need to become a match to that? Okay, so very important. The second part of the GPS plan is we got to plan. We got to plan the path and map out 3 to 6 months. Most people don't do that. You got to prioritize your calendar. How is this going to happen? What are going to be the content themes? What are going to be your focus? What is your intention? It's a clarity and intention. And this is where we also decide on the sales system, because we need lead generation, we need conversion. So what content am I going to talk about? What stories? How am I going? What does my client need? How can I weave that in? What am I going to be tracking? What evidence am I going to be gathering? And what is the sales system I'm going to utilize? And in my role to teach 3 very predictable sales system: courting, relationship-based selling, taster experience where people can micro taste you, and then conversion events, whether it's a master classes or launches or something else like that. Okay. But this is because the sales systems create predictability, because there is numbers and evidence behind them. Okay. So we got to map this out. Very, very important. So now we kind of have the data, we have the plan, we have the DPS, we can plug it. Now, this is important, but are we going to follow this through? Are we going to get those results? And this is where the identity really comes in. Okay. So, and this is where we got to see, who am I? Because the results we get, and whether I follow that bloody GPS, is who I am. So let's talk about the archetypes briefly. So what I have found, there is 5 disempowered archetypes which most of us embody. And we run our business from these. And the results we get is according to the archetype, because we radiate the frequency, the energy, but we are a match to certain things. All these archetypes means you are in survival. Means you're not in control. Okay. And this is often very subconscious. So the first archetype is the little girl. See, it's like, I hope it happens. When I grow up, I need somebody to tell me what to do. It's basically this inner child that is running the show. And a lot of us have this. It's the fawning, the freeze and fawn. It's a little girl, powerless. That's the first archetype. And when you're the little girl, you get a lot of things to wait for, because you always get what you're matched for. Then we have the flipper. It's a teenager, inner teenager, and they work together really well. This is the rebel. It's like you have been the little girl waiting, and then you go, enough. And then you kind of like, let's blow up everything, change everything, scrap everything. But inconsistent. It's boring and burning it down. You go all in, you burn out, you go all in. Inner teenager, okay? So results, feast and famine, flipper, you exhaust yourself. The third archetype is the victim. Excuses. Something is always happening. Justification. Powerless. World happens to you, not for you, to you. You blame algorithm, the economy, the clients, mentors, Mercury, retrograde. You always have a story why. And when you play the victim, you get more to be a victim for. It's always something will happen. And then we have the mother. Oh, the mother, this motherer. She overgives, she caretakes, she sacrifices herself for the clients. You know you're playing the mother, where's the resentment? You take responsibility for your clients' results, everything. And then the final one is the whore. She's desperate for validation. She sells herself short. Now, when we have an online business, we're selling ourselves. So we trick, and for money as well. So the whore often happens really often. It's like, please do this validation. It's like the proof I'm good enough or worthy. Okay. So these are the 5 archetypes. And when we are kind of playing them, you get always a result. So you're either waiting for somebody to happen, little girl, you're the rebel energy, where you're always rebranding, redoing the flipper. You're the victim, is somebody's fault, never her. Something always happens, you always have a good story. It's a mother overgiver, babysitter clients, or the whore who is validation hungry, needs somebody to tell them this is good enough, okay? Now, you always have a choice. Am I playing them, or do I step into the 10K plus month woman? Or the queen, or whatever you want to call her. But this is where you take responsibility back and you get to decide what you're available for and what you're not. This is where you raise your standards, you're solid, you're potent, you're powerful, you trust yourself, you step back into your power. And when you do, your souls become solid. You have a plan, you understand the frequency, you start finding the security and safety within. And then you really understand all the results as simply reflection. And every time you see something you don't like, you simply change it, okay? And we go back to the GPS method. We create a sales system. We're like, is it a lead problem? Is it a sales problem? But we really go back to all of that, okay? So the 10K month woman doesn't do more. She does less, but with more clarity and intention. And this is why a lot of my clients stop overworking and start stacking consistent income, because they're anchoring the identity and energy, and then they have a GPS method for them as well. So what I'm going to ask yourself, what are you available for and what are you not? Get clear of that, and what archetype is running your business. And if it's something like you want to go deeper into, I would start with the 10K month blueprint, which has the GPS method, and the 10K month woman, where we go so deep into all of this. And it's only 300 euros a year. So it's like the best program out there, where you have all the resources, and you also have like a monthly training as well. Okay, but have a look at it. This is the secret sauce.